little while back, a friend of mine named Karim Lakhani and his colleagues did a really interesting piece of research where they set up a head-to-head competition between the performance of the core of the medical research industry on a tough problem versus the performance of the crowd. And again, the crowd are just all of the people out there connected to the internet somehow. And the problem that they were working on, the really difficult problem, was sequencing the genomes of lots of human white blood cells. Our white blood cells have a very strange genome to fight off all of our biological enemies out there. And obviously, to understand how this all works, we would like to use genetic technologies to sequence the genomes of lots of our white blood cells, hopefully understand the world of disease better. So this is a pretty fundamental problem. It is a really interesting, really important, very difficult problem. Like you can imagine, we use computers to do this sequencing now. And when Karim and his colleagues started the research, the US National Institutes of Health had a baseline method for doing this sequencing. It was an algorithmic approach, used a lot of computing, and it worked with about 72% accuracy, and one computer run took about 4.5 hours. And the question was, how good is that? Can we expect to do a lot better? Keeping in mind, the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, is absolutely part of the core of the US medical research establishment. It is set up to tackle these kinds of tough problems. So can we expect to do a lot better or not? There is a research team at Harvard Medical School, which again, I would say is absolutely part of the core of the medical research community, that did a lot better. They did the same work, not in 4.5 hours, but in a little bit less than 1 hour, and they got the accuracy up to about 77%. Okay, that's not a small improvement, that's a pretty big improvement, but again, it came from a different part of the core of the medical research community. Where things got really interesting for me is when Karim and his colleagues worked to open this problem up to the crowd and see what the crowd could do. And the way they did this was they reformulated it so it was more of a pure algorithmic challenge, and they posted it to an online community called Topcoder, which is a place where people who love to work on algorithms for whatever reason show up and they come across interesting problems and they work on them. And they ran a 2-week competition. It ran for 14 days. And they said, look, if this is interesting to you, download the problem, download the data, and upload your solution, and we'll see how much better you can do. The absolute best submissions that came in, there were a handful of these absolute best submissions that came in from the crowd. They could do the same work, not in 4.5 hours, not in a little bit less than 1 hour, but they could do the same work in less than a minute. And the accuracy that they came up with was not 72% or 77%, it was up at about 80%. And they really didn't expect that anyone could be more accurate than that. The research team interviewed the people who uploaded these solutions. It turns out a lot of them were young, a lot of them were still students, and very few of them said that they had any life sciences or any R&D experience at all. What I take away from this example is that if you can tap into the energy and the power and the wisdom of the crowd, if you can get them excited about your opportunity or about your problem or your challenge, you'll get a solution that is better than anything that the core had been able to come up with.